Marcus Williams stood in the middle of the living room of his small Oakland apartment, holding his cell phone with trembling hands. The notification glowed on the screen like a final sentence. Your account has been permanently deactivated. Decision is irreversible. 42 years old, 2 children to raise alone, and now, nothing. How is it possible that a simple act of doing the right thing could destroy everything? To understand this story, we need to go back just 1 week. 1 week that changed everything. It was a typical Friday in the Bay Area. Marcus had left Oakland at 5 in the afternoon, taking the Bay Bridge toward San Francisco, where the rides paid better. The kind of night every rideshare driver knows well. Fine rain falling, streets shining under the city lights, and that silent urgency to do one more ride, earn a few more dollars. Marcus was already on his 12th hour of the day. His eyes burned with exhaustion, but the overdue electric bill stuck to the car's dashboard was a constant reminder that stopping wasn't an option. The steering wheel of his 2012 Honda Civic was worn by time, marks of countless hands that had held there during endless shifts. Marcus knew every sound of the engine, every strange vibration. Mechanics had always been his passion since he was a boy, when he spent entire afternoons in his father's shop in Oakland. But life had other plans. The divorce, the bills, the responsibilities. All of this transformed the dream of his own shop into something distant, almost unreal. "Daddy, when can we go to the movies again?" Emma's voice, his 9-year-old daughter, echoed in his memory. Those hopeful eyes, always believing that her father could make magic happen. And Jake, 12 years old, trying to be strong, trying not to show that he missed the little things they used to have before. Have you ever wondered how many silent decisions we make every day? How many times we choose to continue, even when every fiber of our body asks us to stop? The app notification lit up the screen. New ride. Chase Center in San Francisco. End of Warriors game. Marcus sighed deeply. Post-game rides were always good, but traffic was hell. He accepted anyway. Great things happen when you keep working, even when you're exhausted. 15 minutes later, Marcus was stopped in the VIP pickup area at Chase Center. The rain had intensified, liquid drums beating on the car's hood. People rushed out, umbrellas competing for space on the wet sidewalks. Then he saw a tall man wearing a Warriors cap pulled down low and a black mask covering his face. Common these days, nobody would think twice. The man entered the back seat with an agile movement, bringing with him the smell of gym locker room and something else. Perhaps expensive perfume that Marcus only knew from commercials. "How's it going, brother?" The voice was friendly, warm even through the mask. All good," Marcus responded, starting the ride on the app. "So, good game?" "It was intense, man, but worth every second." The passenger leaned back, clearly relaxed. "This car of yours is running smooth. Civic 2012? Marcus looked through the rearview mirror, surprised. "That's right. How do you know?" "Engine sound. I have a soft spot for cars." There was a smile in the man's voice. "You take good care of it." "I do what I can," Marcus responded, feeling a pang of pride. "I've always been into mechanics. My dad had a shop in Oakland when I was a kid." "Seriously? Man, that's cool. Mechanics is almost a lost art these days." The passenger leaned forward a bit. "Have you ever thought about going back to that?" Marcus hesitated. Why was he opening up to a stranger? But something in that man's voice was genuine. "Every day, man. Every day." But life, you know? I have 2 kids. Bills. Maybe one day. It's never too late, brother. Never too late to do what you were born to do. The rest of the trip continued in comfortable silence, just the sound of rain and the whisper of tires on the wet road. 20 minutes later, Marcus stopped in front of the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. The passenger got out quickly, waved, and disappeared through the hotel's revolving doors. Marcus was about to start the next ride when something caught his attention. There, on the back seat, half hidden between the seat and the door, was a leather wallet. Thick, expensive, the kind you see and know it belongs to someone with money. For a moment, Marcus just looked. You can perceive that the world sometimes puts tests in our path, silent tests that nobody else will know about except you. He picked up the wallet carefully, as if it burned, opened it slowly. His heart stopped. Documents, platinum credit cards, and there, in the transparent part meant for photos, a familiar image. Very familiar. Steph Curry. The face that appeared on billboards throughout the city. The Warriors' star, one of the most famous players in the NBA. Marcus sat there, holding Steph Curry's wallet, while his eyes involuntarily drifted to the overdue electric bill stuck on the dashboard. $347. The wallet in his hands probably had more than that in cash. Probably much more. The rain kept falling, each drop hitting the glass like a clock marking the time of decision. On the radio, softly, an old song his father used to listen to in the shop. Character is what you do when nobody's watching, son. Always. Remember that. Marcus closed his eyes, breathed deeply. And in that moment, without witnesses, without cameras, without anyone to judge or applaud, he made the decision that would change everything. He placed the wallet carefully in the glove box, locked the car, and drove back to Oakland, to home. But what nobody could imagine was that doing the right thing was about to cost him absolutely everything. The night was long. Marcus lay in the bed of his small room in Oakland, looking at the peeling ceiling, listening to the sounds of the city that never sleeps. Oakland had its own soundtrack at night, distant sirens, the sound of freight trains passing, voices echoing from the street. But none of that mattered. His mind was stuck in an infinite loop. The wallet was on the kitchen table. He could feel it from there, as if it had its own weight, as if it pulled the air from the apartment. $347. This number danced in his head. The electric bill. The overdue rent. Emma's medicine that the health plan didn't fully cover. How many times in life have you felt divided between what you need and what you know is right? Marcus got up at 4 in the morning that Saturday. He couldn't stay still anymore. He went to the kitchen, made coffee too strong, and sat at the table looking at the wallet. On the wall beside, a faded photo. Him and his father in the shop. Marcus, maybe 10 years old, holding a wrench bigger than his arm, huge smile on his grease-stained face. "What would you do, Dad?" Marcus whispered to the photo, and he already knew the answer. He always knew. When the sun began to rise, timid through the Bay Area clouds, Marcus had a plan. He picked up his cell phone and started searching. Contacting someone famous like Steph Curry wasn't exactly simple. There wasn't a "Call Steph Curry" in the phone book. After 40 minutes of frustrated research, Marcus had an idea. He called Chase Center, the Warriors' stadium in San Francisco. After being transferred 4 times, he finally managed to speak with someone from administration. "Look, I know this is going to sound strange," Marcus began, trying to keep his voice steady, "but I have Steph Curry's wallet. He left it in my car last night. I'm a rideshare driver. Silence on the other side. Then, Sir, if this is some kind of joke. It's not a joke. Marcus opened the wallet, read the driver's license number. I can prove it. More silence. Then the voice changed, became more serious. Hold the line. 10 minutes later, Marcus was talking with someone from Curry's staff. The voice was professional, but there was tangible relief. Mr. Williams, Mr. Curry did indeed report the wallet loss this morning. We can confirm the numbers you mentioned. Where would you like to make the return? Wherever is easiest for you, Marcus responded. I can go to San Francisco. I work throughout the entire region. Mr. Curry is staying at the Ritz-Carlton today. Could you meet him there at 2 in the afternoon? He insists on thanking you personally. Marcus looked at his phone, at the ride requests coming in. An entire afternoon without working meant easily $200 less. But great things happen when you do right, even when it hurts. I'll be there. At 1:45, Marcus drove from Oakland to San Francisco, parking the Civic in a public spot 3 blocks from the Ritz-Carlton. He wasn't going to pay for hotel parking, that was certain. He wore his best shirt, a light blue one that Emma had said made him look elegant. Still, walking through the marble lobby of the hotel, he felt completely out of place. The lobby was another world. Crystal chandeliers hanging from the high ceiling, soft classical music floating in the air, the smell of expensive flowers and imported perfumes. People in $1,000 suits walked with that ease that only comes from never having worried about money. Marcus pressed the wallet against his chest, suddenly conscious of every look. Mr. Williams? An elegant woman in a black suit approached. Please, follow me. She guided him to a private elevator, then through a silent corridor with thick carpet that swallowed the sound of footsteps. She stopped in front of a suite door, knocked softly. The door opened, and there he was, Steph Curry, without cap, without mask. The face that Marcus had seen in thousands of commercials, billboards, games. But now, up close, what impressed him most was something else, the eyes. There was a genuineness there that TV didn't capture. Marcus, man, come in. Curry extended his hand, and the grip was firm, warm. You have no idea how relieved I am. This wallet has things that, man, I don't even want to think about it. Marcus entered the suite. It was bigger than his entire apartment in Oakland. Huge windows with a view of the bay, furniture that looked like art, a kitchen he didn't even know what it was for in a hotel. Pleasure, Mr. Curry. Here it is. Marcus extended the wallet. Steph. Call me Steph, please. Curry took the wallet, opened it, checked quickly. The relief on his face was real. Man, I can't believe it. You don't know. There are photos of my kids in here, cards my wife gave me, things that are priceless. I understand, Marcus said softly. I have 2 kids, too. I know what it means. Curry looked at him with renewed interest. Sit down, man, please. Do you want water, coffee, anything? You don't need. 2, Sit down. It wasn't an order. It was a genuine invitation. Marcus sat on the edge of an armchair that probably cost 6 months' rent. Curry sat in front, leaning forward. Tell me a little about yourself, Marcus. Last night, in the car, you mentioned mechanics, your kids. And then something strange happened. Marcus began to talk. Maybe it was the way Curry looked, really listening. Maybe it was the exhaustion of holding everything inside for so long. But the words started to flow. He talked about his father, the shop in Oakland, childhood dreams. He talked about the marriage that didn't work out, about taking custody of the kids, about bills that never stop. He talked about driving 14 hours a day between Oakland and San Francisco, about Jake trying to be too strong for his age, about Emma who still believed her father could make magic happen. Curry listened to everything, didn't interrupt, didn't look at his phone, didn't give that feeling that he was just being polite. He really listened. "Man," Curry finally said, and there was something heavy in his voice. "You're the kind of father I hope to be. Working like this, sacrificing everything for your kids, and still you found my wallet and didn't think twice about returning it." "I did think," Marcus admitted with a tired smile. "It would be a lie to say I didn't think about it. But my father always said, 'Character is what you do when nobody's watching.' Nobody would know, just me. And I have to look at my kids every day." Curry was quiet for a moment. Then he got up, went to a desk, came back with a pen and checkbook. "Let me do something. Let me give you a reward, man. You deserve it." "No." The word came out faster than Marcus intended. "Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. But no, I did the right thing. It wasn't for money." "Marcus, seriously, I'm happy to have helped. That's enough." Curry looked at him for a long moment. "Okay, I respect that. But at least let me cover the day. You lost working to come here. Please. This isn't a reward. It's justice." Marcus hesitated, $347 blinking in his mind. But a day's work was $200, maybe $250 at most. Just that. Just the day's work. Done. Curry wrote the check, extended it. $250. "And, Marcus, if you need anything at all, here's my personal number." He wrote on a card. "I'm not joking. People like you are rare, man." Marcus left the hotel 40 minutes later, holding a check for $250, which would help, but wouldn't cover everything, and a card with a phone number. He drove back to Oakland feeling something strange in his chest. It wasn't exactly relief. It was more peace. The feeling that he had done the right thing, even when it hurt. Great things happen when you do right. He repeated this to himself. But the universe, apparently, had other plans. On the following Tuesday, Marcus was giving a ride to an elderly lady when the notification appeared. "You received a negative review with formal complaint." His heart tightened. Complaints were rare for him. He had a 4.9 star rating after 3 years driving. He clicked to see the details. The words on the screen didn't make sense. Driver was inappropriate with VIP passenger. Asked for money in an inadequate and embarrassing way. Unprofessional behavior. Marcus felt the world spin. This didn't. He never. Then he understood. The VIP passenger. Steph Curry. But he hadn't asked for anything. Curry was the one who had offered. He tried to respond, explain, but there was only a limited text field. His hands trembled, typing, "This is not true. I returned a lost item from the passenger. I didn't ask for anything. Your response has been recorded. The case is under investigation." Investigation. Marcus breathed deeply. Okay. They were going to investigate and see it was a lie. It had to be that. But on Wednesday morning, when he woke up and opened the app, the screen was different. Your account has been permanently deactivated. Decision is irreversible. And that's how, from 1 hour to the next, Marcus Williams lost his job. For doing the right thing. Have you ever felt the ground disappear beneath your feet? That sensation of free fall, where everything you knew, everything you trusted, simply disappears. Marcus knew that feeling now, intimately. 3 weeks, 21 days without work. 21 days watching his bank account wither like a plant without water. The $250 from Curry's check paid part of the electric bill, but almost $100 were missing. Marcus had to negotiate extra time. After that, the money evaporated. $300, $200, $100. And the bills didn't stop coming, relentless as tides. Marcus tried everything. He called platform support 37 times. 37 times he heard the same robotic response. Your case is being analyzed by our specialized team. You will receive a response within 72 hours. But the 72 hours never ended. They always restarted. He sent emails, dozens of them. The responses were copies of one another, text clearly generated by algorithm. We take all complaints very seriously. Our decision was based on careful analysis. Thank you for your understanding. Understanding. As if understanding paid electric bills. Marcus tried other transportation platforms, but all checked. History. The permanent deactivation was a digital scarlet mark. We regret to inform you that your application was not approved. Always the same message. Always the same closed door. He tried traditional jobs. Mechanic in Oakland and San Francisco shops, delivery driver, night security guard. But the economy was cruel. For each position, there were 50 candidates, and he hadn't worked formally for 3 years. We'll keep your resume on file. Polite code for, don't call us, we won't call you. The apartment in Oakland became smaller each day. Or maybe it was Marcus who was shrinking, imploding under the weight of helplessness. He spent hours sitting at the kitchen table, sending resumes into the void, receiving automatic rejections, watching the world keep spinning without him. Jake began to notice. Of course he noticed. 12 years old, but those eyes already carried adult worries. Dad, is everything okay? He asked always, and Marcus always lied. All good, champ. Just a work break. Emma still believed. 9 years old and still thought her father was invincible. Daddy will go back to work soon, right? Then we can go eat pizza on Saturday? And Marcus smiled, swallowing the lump in his throat. Of course, princess. Soon. Soon. But soon never arrived. The final threat of power cutoff arrived in the 3rd week. Marcus returned from the post office with the notification, hands trembling. 72 hours for payment or disconnection. He had $43 in the account. That night, sitting in the darkness of the apartment, only the light from his phone illuminating his face, Marcus looked at his father's tools stored in the closet. That complete set of craftsman tools that his father had collected during 20 years of work in the Oakland shop. Each piece a memory, each wrench a story. They were worth money. Good money. Enough to pay the electric bill, buy food, gain 1 more month. Marcus picked up a screwdriver, heavy, the wooden handle worn, by use. He remembered the last time his father used it, teaching him to change the alternator of a '67 Chevy. This tool is already more than 30 years old, son. Take good care of it when I'm no longer here. Isn't it incredible how the most valuable things never have a price in money? But then Emma started coughing. It started on a Thursday morning, a dry cough that seemed to scrape her chest. By Friday it was worse. High fever, body aching. Marcus took her to the emergency room, waited 4 hours, left with a prescription for strong antibiotics. At the pharmacy, the pharmacist typed into the system, looked at him with professional sympathy. It's $123, sir. Marcus looked at the bank account on his phone. $43 blinking on the screen like a cruel joke. Do you take installments? Unfortunately not, sir. But we accept all credit cards. Marcus had 2 cards, both at the limit for weeks. He felt his throat close. I need to get the money. I'll come back. On the way back home to Oakland, Emma sleeping in the back seat of the Civic, feverish and sweaty, Marcus felt something break inside him. It wasn't exactly despair. It was worse. It was the feeling of failing as a father, of not being able to do the most basic thing, take care of his sick child. He stopped the car in an empty parking lot, put his head on the steering wheel, and cried. Silently, so as not to wake Emma. He cried for the first time in years. And when it was over, when he had no more tears, only emptiness, he realized that Jake was awake in the back seat, looking at him with those eyes too old. "Dad," Jake said softly, "I have money." Marcus turned. "What?" "My piggy bank. It has almost $150. I was saving for a video game, but Emma needs the medicine." And it was in this moment that Marcus Williams, 42 years old, unemployed rideshare driver, man who had returned a millionaire's wallet and lost everything because of it, finally understood the true price of character. His 12-year-old son, who should be worried about games and friends, was offering all his savings, because he learned from his father, because he saw his father do the right thing, always, even when it hurt. Great things happen when you do right. But sometimes these great things break you first. Marcus accepted the money. He bought the medicine. And that night, after Jake and Emma slept, he did something he didn't want to do, something he swore he would never do. But sometimes, when you're drowning, you grab anything that floats. He opened Facebook. He entered the Bay Area rideshare drivers group. Hundreds of drivers there, from Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, sharing stories, complaints, tips. And Marcus started typing. He told everything: the wallet, Steph Curry, the return, the meeting at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco, the false complaint, the deactivation, the unemployment, Emma sick, Jake offering, his piggy bank. Each word hurt, but he didn't stop. "I just wanted to do the right thing," he finished. "And now I don't know what to do anymore. Has anyone been through this? Does anyone know how I fight against the system?" He posted and waited. The first response came in 5 minutes. Then another, and another. And suddenly, dozens of drivers sharing similar stories. Unfair deactivations, cruel automated system, lives destroyed without chance of defense. "Man, this is absurd. Do you have proof? Have you tried direct contact with Curry? We need to expose this. This system is destroying families." In 3 hours, the post had 200 responses. Someone suggested, "Share this on Twitter. Put hashtags. Make noise." Marcus had never used Twitter in his life, but he created an account that night. He reposted the story, added hashtags. Hashtag justice for drivers, hashtag unjust system, hashtag Steph Curry. And then something happened that Marcus never expected. The story started to move. Share after share. First dozens, then hundreds. Outraged people. People who had been through similar situations. People who were tired of seeing algorithms destroying human lives. A local journalist saw the post, got in contact. "Mr. Williams, I'm from Bay Area News. Can I ask some questions?" Marcus agreed. He had nothing left to lose. The reporter was young, determined, Jennifer Walsh, she introduced herself. She spent 2 hours interviewing Marcus in his Oakland apartment, checking facts, asking for proof. Marcus showed everything. Curry's check with the date, the app messages, the complete timeline. "Let me investigate something," Jennifer said. "This complaint, who made it?" "The app doesn't reveal. Client privacy." "Leave it to me." 3 days later, Jennifer called back. There was something strange in her voice, a mix of excitement and anger. "Marcus, you need to hear this. The complaint didn't come from Steph Curry." "What?" "It came from another driver, a certain Ryan Foster. He was in the same Facebook group as you. He saw when you posted a photo with Curry in the private drivers group a few weeks ago, remember? Just you celebrating the meeting." Marcus remembered. He had posted quickly on Saturday night, right after leaving the hotel, just a discreet selfie, excited to have met someone famous. But how did he make a complaint if he wasn't a passenger? He created a fake passenger account. The platform system doesn't verify real identity for complaints. It's all automated. He typed that he was a VIP passenger that you embarrassed. The algorithm saw VIP and inappropriate behavior and automatically deactivated you on the following Wednesday. No human investigation. No verification. Nothing. Why? Why would he do that? Envy, Marcus. He was deactivated 6 months ago for legitimate complaint of harassing a female passenger. He saw you with Curry and got angry. He wanted to destroy you, and the system let him. Marcus felt a wave of nausea. All of that. The wallet, doing the right thing, losing everything, was because of a broken system and a bitter man. "Can you prove this?" "I already proved it. I have screenshots, IP comparison, everything." Ryan Foster used the same IP from his house to create the fake account and make the complaint. He's being investigated now for fraud. But Marcus, there's more. I talked to at least 20 other drivers who were unfairly deactivated by similar false complaints. The system is broken, and you're going to be the face of this story. The article came out on Monday morning, 4 weeks after Marcus's deactivation. Automated transportation app system destroys honest man's life. The story everyone needs to hear. The report was detailed, emotional, devastating. It had an interview with Marcus, with other drivers, system analysis, even an attempt to contact the platform, which gave an empty corporate response. It also revealed that Ryan Foster was being criminally investigated for fraud and ideological falsity. The article went locally viral. Thousands of shares, outraged comments, and then someone tagged Steph Curry. At the Warriors training gym in San Francisco, Steph was checking his phone during a break when his assistant, Anthony Jang, approached running. "Steph, man, you need to see this." Curry read the article. His face changed with each paragraph. First confusion, then disbelief, finally pure anger. Is this true? This happened to Marcus, because of me." Apparently so. The complaint was false, but the system— "What system?" Curry exploded. "This man returned my wallet. He had every right to keep it, with the money, with everything. But he did the right thing. And the system punished him? Because of a false complaint using my name? Technically, it wasn't because of you." "Doesn't matter." Curry was pacing back and forth, the basketball forgotten on the floor. "He lost his job, his kids. Man, he told me about his kids, Emma and Jake. They're going through hardship because of this?" Anthony hesitated. "From the article, it seems so." Curry grabbed his phone. "Get me Marcus's number, now." "Steph, maybe you should—" "Now, Anthony." But before he could dial, Curry stopped, thought, and then did something different. He opened Twitter, checked his account with 23 million followers, and started typing. Marcus's phone rang with an avalanche of notifications. He was in the Oakland apartment kitchen, trying to stretch the last package of pasta for dinner, when the phone simply went crazy. Twitter, Facebook, messages, calls. He picked up the phone confused and opened Twitter. The first thing he saw was a notification. Steph Curry mentioned you. With trembling hands, Marcus clicked. Curry's post was at the top of his feed, already with thousands of retweets and likes climbing every second. A few weeks ago, a rideshare driver named Marcus Williams found my wallet in his car in SF. Inside was cash, cards, photos of my kids, irreplaceable things. He could have disappeared with everything. Nobody would know. But he found me and returned it. Didn't want a reward. Said he did the right thing because that's how he raises his kids. Today, I found out that this same man was deactivated from the platform by a false complaint right after helping me. The complaint was made by another envious driver, using my name. He lost his job. He's struggling to feed his kids, all because someone bitter and a cruel automated system destroyed his life without investigation. Marcus Williams is the kind of man we should celebrate, and instead, the system threw him in the trash. This can't stay like this. At Platform, you're going to fix this. And Marcus, brother, call me. We're going to solve this together. #Justice for Marcus. Marcus read 3 times. He couldn't believe it. He looked at the count. 50,000 retweets in 20 minutes. Comments by the thousands. People sharing, outraged, demanding justice. The phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus answered with hesitant voice. Hello? Marcus. Man, it's Steph. Steph Curry. Marcus sat, weak legs. Steph, I saw the post. Man, I had no idea. I swear to God, I had no idea what happened to you. If I had known, if someone had told me. It wasn't your fault. Marcus's voice was choked. You didn't do anything wrong. But I'm going to do something right now. I promise. We're going to fix this. And Curry wasn't joking. I mean, 2 hours. The story was national. CNN, ESPN, TMZ, everyone covered it. NBA star defends wronged driver. Curry's post had 5 million views. The pressure on the platform was a tsunami. At 7 in the evening, the platform CEO posted an official statement. We are deeply investigating the case of Mr. Marcus Williams. Our automated systems failed, and we take full responsibility. We are contacting Mr. Williams directly to correct this injustice. 15 minutes later, Marcus's phone rang. Mr. Williams, this is Daniel Patel, Director of Operations at Platform. First, our most sincere apologies. We would like to reactivate your account immediately and offer substantial compensation for the damages caused. Marcus looked around the Oakland apartment, at Jake and Emma watching everything in silence, eyes wide. He looked at his father's tools in the closet, at the overdue electric bill on the table, at everything he had lost. And then he said something nobody expected. Thank you for the offer. But no. Silence on the other side. Mr. Williams, you're not offering this because it's right. You're offering because Steph Curry has 23 million followers. What happens to the next driver who gets unfairly deactivated? And the next? How many Marcus Williams exist out there that nobody will ever hear? Mr. Williams, I understand your frustration, but... No, you don't understand. But you will. I don't want my job back. I want you to change the system. Human investigation in every deactivation. Real right to defense. Transparency. Reactivate all drivers who were victims of verified false complaints. Change the system, then we'll talk. Marcus hung up. His hands were trembling, but not from fear. From something like power. For the first time in weeks, he wasn't powerless. The phone rang again immediately. Steph Curry. Marcus, man, you just refused reactivation? I refused. Silence. Then Curry started laughing. Not a mocking laugh, but one of pure admiration. Man, you're something special. You know that? I can't accept something that thousands of other drivers won't have. It's not right. Great things happen when you do right, huh? Curry echoed Marcus's own words. Listen, you mentioned something when we met at the Ritz about wanting to open a mechanic shop in Oakland. It was a dream, that's all. What if we made it reality? Marcus didn't respond. He couldn't. Tomorrow, Curry continued, can you bring your kids to the game? Courtside, here at Chase Center. I want them to see their father be recognized for the man he is. Steph, I don't... Please, Marcus, let me do this. It's not charity. It's the least a man can do for another who taught him what it really means to have character. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought about Jake offering his piggy bank, about Emma asking about pizza, about all the nights he had slept, wondering if he was doing enough as a father. Okay, he whispered. We'll go. And that night, Marcus slept for the first time in weeks. Not because the problems had ended, but because, somehow strange and unexpected, doing the right thing had created waves that were coming back. Great things happen when you do right. Sometimes they just take a while to appear. Chase Center was different seen from courtside. Marcus had come here before, of course, to pick up passengers in the pickup area, but always from outside, watching the crowds exit happily. He never imagined being inside, much less sitting meters from the court. Jake was on his right side, huge eyes, mouth slightly open, absorbing everything. Emma on the left, still a bit pale from recent illness, but with that smile that lit up the world. Daddy, the court is so shiny. You can see everything. I know, Princess. I know. The arena was packed. 18,000 people creating a wall of sound that vibrated in the chest. Warriors against Lakers, historical rivals, the kind of game that defines seasons. But Marcus could barely focus on basketball. His heart was racing too fast, mind spinning too fast. Steph had explained the plan yesterday. There will be a special moment at halftime of the second quarter. Just trust me, okay? Marcus had no idea what to expect, but here he was, wearing the only dress shirt he owned. Jake, with a Warriors shirt he had received as a gift from a neighbor years ago. Emma, with her favorite polka dot dress. The first quarter passed in a blur of movement and noise. Curry was flying across the court, each three-point shot making the crowd explode. Marcus saw Jake leaning forward, absorbing every movement, as if he wanted to memorize the physics of each play. Dad, Jake whispered in a pause moment. Steph is very good. Yeah, champ. He is. But you are too. Jake looked at him with those two old eyes. You're very good too. Marcus felt his throat tighten. He put his arm around his son, pulled him close. He couldn't form words. The second quarter ended with Warriors ahead by 8 points. The arena lights dimmed slightly, and the announcer's voice echoed through the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, before we return to the game, we would like to recognize someone very special in the audience tonight. Marcus felt his stomach turn. Was this really happening? A few weeks ago, one of our players lost something very valuable. And a man named Marcus Williams, a rideshare driver from Oakland, found that item and returned it, without hesitating, without asking for reward, just doing the right thing. The giant screen above the court lit up, and suddenly Marcus's face was there, projected in high definition for 18,000 people. He heard Emma give a little scream of surprise. "Daddy, it's you!" But the story doesn't end there, the announcer continued. Through a cruel error of an automated system and a false complaint made by another person, Marcus was unfairly deactivated from his job. He lost his source of income. He struggled to feed his two beautiful children, Jake and Emma, who are here with him tonight. The camera moved, capturing Jake and Emma. Emma waved shyly at the screen, and the crowd gave a collective sigh of awe. Marcus Williams represents something we all value: integrity. Doing the right thing even when nobody's watching, even when it costs everything. And tonight, someone who was directly impacted by that integrity would like to say a few words. Steph Curry appeared on the screen, clearly recorded earlier that day. He was sitting, speaking directly to the camera, with that intensity Marcus had seen in person. "Marcus, when you returned my wallet at the Ritz-Carlton, you said something that stayed with me. You said your father taught you that character is what you do when nobody's watching, that you have to be able to look at your kids every day. Man, your kids are lucky. They have a father who doesn't just talk about values, but lives them. Even when it hurts, even when it costs everything." You also told me about your dream of opening a mechanic shop in Oakland, something you inherited from your father, something you've been postponing for years because of life's responsibilities. Well, I believe that when you do the right thing, the universe needs to reward that. And I want to be part of that reward. The image changed. It was a commercial building in Oakland, a modest but solid structure with large garage space. A new sign shone in front: Williams and Sons Automotive. Marcus stopped breathing. "This," Curry's voice continued, "is the space for your new shop in Oakland. Fully equipped, rent paid for the first 2 years, everything you need to start. It's not charity, Marcus. It's investment. Investment in character, in integrity, in the kind of man we want our children to become." The crowd exploded. 18,000 people on their feet, applauding, shouting. The noise was deafening, visceral, a wave of collective approval that washed over Marcus like hot water. He couldn't process. His hands covered his face, tears running between his fingers. Not tears of sadness, but of something bigger. Relief, gratitude. Validation that all those difficult choices, all those sleepless nights, all that suffering, meant something. Jake was crying too, hugging his father. Emma was jumping in place, not completely understanding but feeling the energy, the pure emotion of the moment. "Marcus Williams, Jake and Emma," the announcer called. "Please come to the court." Marcus didn't remember how he went down the steps. His legs moved on autopilot. Suddenly, he was on the court, the shiny wood under his feet, the crowd thundering around. Steph Curry was there, walking toward him with that huge smile. They hugged, not a celebrity hug, but of brothers. Curry whispered in his ear, "You deserve it, man. You deserve every second of this." When they separated, Curry knelt in front of Jake and Emma. "You know your father is a hero, right? Not the type who wears a cape, but the real type. The type who does the right thing. Always." Jake nodded, eyes shining. Emma threw her arms around Curry in a spontaneous hug that made the entire arena melt. But then Curry did something nobody expected. He stood up, took a microphone that someone from the staff extended, and turned to the crowd. "I want to say something," his voice echoed through the arena. "Marcus's story is incredible, but how many other Marcus exist out there? How many people do the right thing every day and are punished by broken systems?" The crowd became quiet, listening. The platform that deactivated Marcus announced important changes today. Human investigation in every deactivation. Real right to defense. Transparency. Reactivation of all suspicious cases. You know why? Because Marcus refused to just have his problem solved. He demanded that the system change for everyone. More applause, more screams. Marcus felt the weight of that. He had made a difference, not just for himself, but for thousands of drivers he would never meet. So tonight, Curry concluded, we're not just celebrating a good man. We're celebrating the power of doing right, even when it costs everything. Because great things happen when you do right. The phrase echoed in the arena, and Marcus realized those words from his father, passed to him, then to his children, were now heard by millions. Maybe that's what legacy meant. 6 months later, Marcus Williams woke up at 6 in the ET morning in his Oakland apartment. Not because he had to drive 14 hours between Oakland and San Francisco, but because he had work he loved waiting for him just 15 minutes from home. Williams & Sons Automotive had opened 4.5 months ago. Curry had insisted on 2 months of preparation before the official opening. Time for Marcus to find the right equipment, hire staff, prepare properly. The first month after opening was difficult. Building clientele, learning to manage, business. But Marcus had something money couldn't buy: reputation. The story had gone so viral that people came from all over the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, San Jose, just to take cars to him. But Marcus didn't just want clients. He wanted to make a difference the same way Curry had made with him. So, he hired. First was Christopher Lee, former rideshare driver unfairly deactivated, living in his car. Now he had an apartment in Oakland, stable life, learning mechanics. Then came Diana Thompson, single mother from San Francisco who had lost her job on another platform. She knew nothing about cars, but had determination. Marcus taught. Now she could change transmission by herself. Tyler Brooks, Joshua Miller, Rachel Kim, the team grew. All with similar stories, all receiving second chances, and all learning that great things happen when you do right. The shop had a special sign on the wall. That set of craftsman tools from Marcus's father, hanging on display with a small inscription: "Great things happen when nobody's watching," in memory of Robert Williams, who taught integrity through example. Jake spent every Saturday at the shop now, learning the trade. 12 years old and already knew how to diagnose engine problems by sound. Marcus saw his father in every movement of his son, that same intense concentration, that same respect for tools. Emma drew. The shop had white walls when it opened, but now they were colorful murals that Emma created. Cars, with wings, mechanics as superheroes, happy families. The children's art transformed the industrial space into something welcoming, human. "Daddy!" Emma shouted from the waiting area, where she was coloring a new mural. "Uncle Steph called. He's coming for lunch today." Curry had become a regular presence at the Oakland shop, not for publicity or photos, but because there was genuine friendship there. He brought the team sometimes, young players that Marcus taught, about basic mechanics. "You guys make millions," Curry told them. "But Marcus here can teach things about character that no coach can." That afternoon, while Marcus was under a 2015 Toyota Camry, hands dirty with grease, smiling because this was exactly where he was born to be. His cell phone rang. It was Jennifer Walsh, the journalist who had broken the story. "Marcus, did you see? The platform just released statistics. Since they changed the system, they've reactivated 318 drivers who were unfairly deactivated. They investigated over 1,000 cases. 318 families, Marcus. You did this." Marcus came out from under the car, wiped his hands on a cloth. 318 families. 318 people who now had a chance to start over. Because of a choice he had made on a rainy night, holding a wallet that wasn't his. "And there's more," Jennifer continued. "Ryan Foster was convicted. Electronic fraud, ideological falsity, 2 years in prison, plus financial restitution to the victims." Marcus felt a pang of something, not exactly satisfaction, but justice. "Thank you for letting me know, Jennifer." "Marcus, have you thought about expanding? I mean, opening other shops, helping more people?" Marcus looked around, at Jake working focused on a break, at Emma painting dreams on the wall, at Christopher, Diana, Tyler, Rachel, his entire team that had become family. "Maybe one day," he said, "but right now, here in Oakland is where I need to be, with my family, doing the work, living what I believe." When he hung up, Curry was leaning against the door, listening. "You're special, man. You know that?" Marcus smiled. "I'm not special. I just do what my father taught." "That's exactly what makes you special." Curry entered, picked up a wrench, waited. "Your father would be proud, you know, of the man you've become, of the parents you're raising." Marcus looked at Jake and Emma, at the sign with his father's tools, at everything he had built from the ashes of the worst phase of his life. "I hope so," he said softly. "I really hope so." But he already knew, because great things aren't measured in money or fame or recognition. They're measured in moments like this: father and children working together, former unemployed now with purpose, unjust systems forced to change, lives touched by simple choices to do right. That night, after everyone had gone home, Marcus stayed alone in the shop for a few minutes. The smell of oil and grease was perfume to him. His hands were calloused, nails permanently stained, and he wouldn't trade that for anything. He picked up his phone, opened the profile photo he had chosen. It was him, Jake, and Emma at the shop's inauguration, all laughing, covered in grease, perfectly happy. He posted a simple update. 6 months since everything changed. Still doing right. Still believing. Thank you to everyone who's part of this journey. Hundreds of comments started appearing immediately. Drivers he would never meet, thanking him. People inspired by the story. Others sharing their own journeys of integrity. But the comment that made Marcus stop was at the top. It was from Jake, posted from his account. "My dad always says, great things happen when nobody's watching. He lives that every day. When I grow up, I want to be like him. Not rich or famous. Just good. Like my dad." Marcus closed the app. He sat on his father's workbench, now his bench. And for the second time in 6 months, he cried. But this time, they were tears of something he had forgotten existed during those difficult years of driving between Oakland and San Francisco, of bills, of constant struggle. They were tears of peace, of fulfilled purpose, of knowing that, in the end, all the suffering had meant something. Have you ever wondered what the true price of character is? Marcus Williams discovered it costs everything, but it also rewards everything. Not immediately, not the way you expect, but in deeper, more real, more permanent ways than any shortcut could ever give. Because in the end, great things really do happen when you do right, even when nobody's watching, especially when nobody's watching. And that simple truth, passed from father to son, from generation to generation, echoed in that Oakland shop on that silent night, as it had echoed in Marcus Williams's life when he needed it most. Some lessons don't age, some truths don't change, and some men, ordinary men, making extraordinarily simple choices, remind the rest of us of what really matters. Marcus turned off the lights, locked the door, and drove home to Oakland. To Jake and Emma. To simple dinner and laughter. To the life he had built not despite his choices, but because of them. And as he drove through the familiar streets of Oakland, passing by the illuminated Bay Bridge where he had worked so many times, Marcus Williams smiled. Because he had learned the most important lesson of all. Doing right is never wrong, even when it seems like it, especially when it seems like it. Great things happen when nobody's watching, and sometimes, if you're lucky, the whole world ends up watching anyway.